When is anxiety helpful and useful in your life? What's the difference between anxiety and concern? How does fear and worry and all of these things play into the whole picture? A lot of my clients, when I worked with people who had anxiety, and then also a lot of the comments on my YouTube videos will be, well, isn't anxiety sometimes helpful? Don't I have to worry about potential problems? And of course, right? In one of my videos on anticipatory anxiety, I talk about how our human brain is an anticipatory machine. We know how to anticipate problems so we can solve them, right? But on this video, I'm going to help you sort of know what is the difference? How do I navigate that space between productive worry, useful concern, and anxiety that keeps me up at night, makes me ruminate, makes me miserable? How do I navigate that space? So I was doing some intense skiing recently, thinking of all of you guys, and I want to share a little clip that I recorded.
So I wanted to jump on quick and talk a little bit about fear and anxiety because I've been filming and recording all these videos that hopefully you've seen on fear and anxiety and the difference between the two. But as I am out here in beautiful Deer Valley, Utah, skiing, and it's a gorgeous day. Not too cold, a little cold, not too cold. I've been thinking about fear a lot because I definitely have more fear skiing than I used to have. So I'm older. I had a pretty bad accident about 3 years ago now. Some of you guys might know, you might remember. But I definitely have more worry about falling, so I'm way more cautious. So I was thinking about this use of this word fear, because in my fear versus anxiety video, I talk about how fear is like in the moment, something dangerous is happening, all of your adrenaline kicks in and your focus and you're primed to run, muscle tension, all of that. And that anxiety is anticipating it. So clearly now, here I am sitting on the chairlift, right? So if I let my body get flooded with all those chemicals thinking about this, that would clearly be anxiety. And I think a lot of people would use the term fear and say, yeah, I have more fear about skiing than I used to, right? But I was thinking it's not quite the word I want to use, because I do think it's, for me, and obviously common usage of fear, the word is used that way. So I was just brainstorming it with my husband and I came up with the word concern. So yes, I have much more concern about falling and being careful than I used to have. And I think that it makes sense given my age and the fact that I only ski about 2 weeks a year. And I'm only on day 3 this year. And I've had those accidents. So I have more concern, and having that concern is healthy and adaptive as long as it doesn't paralyze me, right? Or really hold me back. So this slope I'm about to go down, I'm going to see if I can give you guys a view of this slope here. This is a pretty mega hard slope. I'm not sure I'm going to do the whole thing, but those are all moguls, bumps. It's really gorgeous out here, right? So when I get on a slope this hard, that fear really has been slowing me down to the point that I'm not skiing as well. So I just started to think about that and see if I could be like, okay, this is a concern that's helping me focus and helping me be a little bit more careful, but I don't want it to tighten all my muscles, make me stressed in a way that I can't flow with my skiing. So wanted to share that with you because I know people are like, can you ever really get rid of anxiety, and isn't some of it a good idea? And so yes, concern and protection against danger, good idea, but allowing all those anxiety chemicals and fear responses to flood in, not necessarily. I have more to say about breathing, so I do want to hop back on and give you a little bit more info on that, but I got to get off the lift now and I'm gonna go hit that slope. Alrighty, just got down that hill. I cut into the bumps about 1/3 of the way. from the top. I have done it from the top before, but as I said, I'm utilizing a little more discretion these days, and it's the end of the day, as you can tell, but just beautiful, and I'm gonna go.
So, yes, when we do an activity like skiing, we should have concern, right? Even like I'm here in New York City right now, like when you cross the street, a little concern is useful, helps you focus, pay attention, right? And now in New York, the bike lanes, which are great, I fully support them, but people are just whizzing by on these bikes. And if you forget to look in the bike lane, you could get hurt. So, all of these things, like, yes, we have to bring some of that in. But if we're bringing it in to the point where we're having all of those physiological anxiety symptoms, tense muscles, tense jaw, headache, stomach ache, digestive problems, rumination, everything, all of that, then we are crossing the line into what isn't helpful. Because having some concern so you can pay a bit more attention, right? Very useful, but you don't want to hold yourself back. And so, like, as I said in my ski video, when I sort of like realized what was happening to me and I kind of physically relaxed, even though I was able to keep a high level of attention because you really need to, my skiing started to flow much easier. So I also want to throw out here about avoidance because I've done a number of videos recently about how avoidance plays into that anxiety cycle and can make things worse. So, for me, if I avoided skiing or avoided some of the harder slopes, it probably would make my anxiety worse, to be perfectly honest. And the more I avoided them, the less I do them, and the less likely it would be that I would do them next year. But that's because I like to ski that I think of it that way. If you hate skiing, you hate the cold, maybe you tried it once or twice, it was scary, you didn't like it, you decided not to do it, that is not an avoidance that really contributes to an anxiety cycle because you don't have to ski. So, yes, if we don't like something and we choose to avoid it, it's okay. But it's those situations that we either know we have to do something, or it would be better for us if we did something, or even in those situations where we really can't function if we don't do something and we're avoiding it. That's where it makes it worse. So, just to kind of reiterate, if something is easy to avoid and doesn't impact your life, avoiding it isn't a problem. But that's not where most people are thinking and worrying about avoiding or not avoiding. All right, let me know in the comments if that point on avoiding made sense. And let me know about how you navigate this space between reasonable, healthy concern and overblown anxiety. And even just bringing into mind that concept of when you are worrying about something, right? And when you're thinking, I have to worry about this, do you need the body chemicals that you're generating in order to plan and fix that problem? Do you need those tense muscles? Do you need to be holding yourself like this? Or can you breathe in a somewhat more relaxed way, ground yourself, maybe even take a little bit of a break, and then come back to the problem? Because our creative thinking really jumps in when we're more relaxed. And that's why, like, people could be like worried about a problem, and then, one day they'll be like in the shower, not thinking about it, and boom, the solution pops into their head. So, let me also know if there's a place or time or thing you're doing where solutions pop into your head, because we are more creative when we're relaxed. Hi, I wanted to jump back in to tell you that I do have a free webinar. And if fear versus concern is something that's on your mind, this webinar might be really helpful for you because it talks about rewiring your brain for joy and confidence, kind of the opposite of anxiety. And I'll be doing that live, depending on when you're watching this, but check out the link below and my website. And there will either be a live version of the webinar or automated, and I hope it's super useful for you. All right, take care.